What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show we like to call Pancrace, Legends of Mixed Martial Arts. I'm your host, Rob Wu, and sitting alongside me, as always, our expert analyst, Josh Barnett.
And you know how one happens to become an expert analyst in this sport, Rob?
I assume you fight?
Not just fight, you pretty much get your nose bent crooked, whapped upside the head, and people try to tear your limbs off on a regular basis. So
your nose looks perfectly fine to me, Josh.
That's thankfully all because of makeup.
And now today we're going to see event 66. Josh, this takes place in the late part of 1998, and some of the rules have changed.
Yeah, in fact, they're trying to make sort of a transition and experimenting with the idea of doing no rules bouts or vale tudo, closed fist, striking on the ground, stomping, kicking, maybe even headbutting being allowed. A little bit of a change up from the more sports and sort of pro wrestling type rules of previous Pancrace bouts, but let's see how these rules are used in full effect.
In our first fight, it's going to be Daisuke Ishii versus Minoru Toyonaga, two fighters we haven't seen a lot of, Josh.
No, Ishii, a new initiate to the Pancrace system, actually a good friend of mine. It'll be interesting to see his fight against Toyonaga, actually a graduate of the Takada Dojo system, and funny enough, Toyonaga would go on to become one of the judges and referees of the Pride Fighting Championship.
All right, he was a judge. Let's see how he did as a fighter.
Daisuke Ishii versus Minoru Toyonaga.
And Ishii, a multi-talented athlete, actually played a season of hockey in Canada after he graduated from high school.
Ishii with the body lock here. Looking for the tight waist takedown. Ishii also fairly decent at English.
And Toyonaga, this is actually his debut fight.
Ishii crowding Toyonaga into the corner here. Now this bout, as we spoke of, is not actually under the limited rules that they will be using. We'll see some of that later in the program. This is a standard Pancrace rules match.
As we move along in the fight, and Josh, Ishii was actually trained by Funaki.
Yeah, and he actually started to pick up a bit of an affinity for boxing and trained heavily in boxing when Pancrace would change over to the open finger glove set of rules later on.
Ishii coming in on Toyonaga, throwing knees.
Toyonaga reeling from those knee strikes, one just narrowly missing the chin of Toyonaga as Toyonaga went for a neck throw, but Ishii blocking the throw and now looking for the sleeper as he's on the back of Toyonaga.
And Ishii desperate for another win. 9 career fights so far, just 1 victory thus far.
Toyonaga rolling up looking for the arm lock, but Ishii defending.
Ishii has a side control, but the fighters are near the ropes.
30 seconds left. Ishii lands a few chipping body punches as they are brought back to the feet.
And as Josh said, Toyonaga now a referee.
Formerly of the Pride Fighting System, as Toyonaga dropping into a front choke there. Only 10 seconds left.
And it looks like Ishii can hang on for those 10 seconds.
Yeah, Ishii has his hand inserted there. Blocking the hold there is Sakuraba in the corner of Toyonaga.
Those two very close. As the judges will decide the victor.
Sakuraba, a initiate and a graduator, a former student of Bill Robinson and the UWFI system of pro wrestling, is going to become a very successful fighter in the Pride Fighting system before now joining the K1 fighting league, and Ishii getting that win.
And Ishii picks up his second career victory. Now I want to talk about our next match, Josh. Jason Delusia versus Manabu Yamada. Who likes these rule changes more of these two fighters?
That's hard to say. I think actually the striking aspect would really favor Delusia in this. Yamada, tough as nails though. I think this is a very evenly fought match, and we'll see if Jason Delusia's slickness on the ground is going to be able to pull out the submission win, or if Yamada can tough it out, take this fight into the longer stages and grind out that victory.
All right, it's the Lucha versus Yamada. Let's get to it.
Jason Delusia versus Manabu Yamada.
Yamada sporting the blonde do. I'll have to ask him about that next time I visit his chiropractic office in Tokyo.
As this fight begins, these two fighters did have one meet before, but that was eons ago, back in 1995. As we see Delusia in the full guard of Yamada. Delusia sliding Yamada to the center of the ring.
And this match also contested under standard Pancrace rules at the time.
Delusia with the side control now.
Delusia keeping that ankle tight and controlling Yamada on his back.
And Jason Delusia, a lot of experience. 25-13 is his record. Yamada, plenty of experience as well. 13-9-2.
Delusia threatening with the arm lock there as he crowds over the top of Yamada's head, trying to hook his head behind the leg, but Yamada able to defend, and Delusia now cranking the forearm, looking for the arm lock.
And Yamada has his legs around Delusia's neck for a second, but now Yamada has to watch out for that armbar. Unable to escape. Jason Delusia gets the win via the armbar. 113 in the first round. A very quick fight, Josh.
Yamada looking a little worn down, if anything. And Delusia just locking up the arm, not a real fancy setup, and just spinning right into it. Very basic armbar attempt, but Yamada unable to stop it. Delusia executing a picture-perfect spinning arm lock.
All right there, Yamada losing to Delusia. We have to take a quick commercial break, but don't go away. Minoru Suzuki is coming up next.